Now, in the 9 previous sessions, we talked a lot about cultural things, right? And then maybe some of you already couldn't wait to throw a question at me. It's like, I thought you're a business person. All you talk about is what art, culture. What about in business? Can we use the Taoism, to help us and benefit from it? Of course you can. Yeah. And this has a lot to do with the strategy. Okay. I'm gonna give you some example. Hopefully, you could relate to. Um, you see, all my professional life, I always wanted to do the change management. Always want to reform, introduce, the good, business operation routine on the best practice basis, to establish new SOP. Most of the time, I didn't get very successful. Why? Because I started to study Taoism too late. Of course, today I'm realizing and I understand what is Six Sigma is. It's basically to make sure with the corporate championship, basically the corporate top management, involved in and make this statement. Hey, we're serious about this. We mean business and blah blah blah. And basically to create, the company-wide, new corporate culture, right? So with that, and then you have the master black belt, the black belt, of course, the nodding green belt too. But basically, you are creating a entire environment to facilitate the changes, right? Taoism actually would strongly encourage you to only start making your moves when your observation lead to the judgment that the environment, the big environment is there, and the strong trend of change is, clearly identified, then you make your move. Otherwise, you know what you could do? You could do a lot of things because of your strong personal belief, but you could end up like a Don Quixote. Yeah? What does that mean? That means you're challenging everything and everyone, for the right cause. And that's all you have, the right cause. You're not gonna, likely succeed. And that's what a lot of ended up as the Don Quixote. Yeah? So let's talk about the Taoism. Taoism basically, of course, remember we talked about the life cycle, right? When you see things are already passing the peak point, it started going in the downtrain. The downtrain is a strong indication. This is the time. You can try to do a lot of things. You cannot reverse the trend. Okay, you can delay this inevitable, for a limited period of time. And that's the most you can do, right? So when you are doing something, right, the first thing first, as a good Taoist that I am hoping I'm becoming today, is to observe the environment, okay, to see if it's matured enough. So what are we talking about? Timing. Even if you have the best solution, you have the greatest idea, okay, and you talk to people, and a lot of people you talk to, they're like, yeah, it does make sense, and they nod their head, they smile. But are they in for the action, or are they in for the inaction? You gotta identify that. If the big environment is not there, then you need to be strategic about the timing of your action. There's no question about the action itself. That's on the tactical level. Presumably, you already got all that figured out. It's really just when, right, and how, not what, right? So that's Taoism. When you are actually there to implement something, ask yourself, is the environment there ready for you? If the environment is not ready, and we're talking about like in most, because think about it, when you are all by yourself, let's say you have a couple of guys or ladies on your team, but when you are trying to do something, introduce a change at 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 60,000, employee, huge company, what do you think you can do? Next to nothing. Okay. Even if, let's say, you are the CEO, you still need to mobilize the forces, rally behind you, and then you got to have the environment. And then you start talking about timing. Before then, it's premature. Okay. So that, I believe, is something naturally you think about, where the Taoism could help you. Or let's say you're in a, I hate to say this, but because if you're a good Taoist, you stay away from all those stuff. But let's say you have to, okay? You're not retired, of course, you're still fighting for your career. And of course, you don't want to be bullied, right? So you have someone you have to. I mean, typically we all know the easiest relationship is between you and your boss, right? And in America, in China is different. In America, the relationship between you and your subordinates is not as bad to manage. If you had proper training all the time, you know how to do this thing. The most challenge comes from your peers who are at the same level, whether that is media management or line management or senior management. Why? Because that is the competition. You both want to get up to the next level, right? So some would fight, nobly. They won't hit you below the belt. Others, they will not give up on any chance they could give you the fatal blow, right? You're out. He or she is in and up, became your boss. So you want to have this fight, and let's hope it's a fair fight from your end, from your side. What you want to do, you remember, Taoist is always a strategy, at that level, not technical level, not operational level. You need to analyze the whole situation, right? You want to stay at least 3 steps ahead of your rivalry competition. You analyze. This is just like the analogy I gave earlier about in a personal. I don't want to say fight, but let's say exchange of physical moves with this certain, I guess, particular purpose between the adversaries. Okay, let's put it that way. So the corporate politics is about the same. Okay, you observe what's the weakness, what is the strength. Okay, your strength against the weakness of the other side, and the vice versa, right? So if you already know the character of your rivalry, you could calculate. If you know the character of that side, you could pretty much anticipate his or her next move and the next 3 moves or even next 10 moves. If you observe long enough, carefully enough, and then your plan, your strategy, first of course strategy, then plan. Your strategy is, okay, I will not appear to be so aggressively against that person because that shows how bad I want that person to to look. No, you appear noble. You say all the right things at the right time with the right people. You win this respect, you win this admiration. And only when the other side start to show little, ugly people. We all have both, both sides, the better side and the ugly side. So when the other side start to show that, that's where you start your move, right? It's like, oh, I don't know, but did you notice that? I wonder. Things very little, light touch here, light touch there. Basically, what you're doing, you're starting to undermine the credibility of the other side. Little by little, in time, it's going to take some good effects, okay? You're undermining the other side. And then, you wait for the right moment when sometime, and that is almost inevitable when you already know that character, something will happen. Use that. You'll make your strike, okay? But again, nobly, okay? Fairly, transparently. You never gossip behind somebody's back, said the negative things about somebody else. You never do, okay? So that is Taoism for you. Don't act like the head of my country now, because that's typically someone with no vision, no strategy, no plan. It just constantly react to whatever with the hot head. That someone does not know anything about strategy. Okay, that someone could really use Taoism if ever possible. What you really want to do for the politics at that level, you observe. You don't make the high profile complaint or whining, bitching about this and that. No, you want to appear very cool, very tolerant. And what you eventually end up doing is actually you never make any move, but once you do, that's killing move. You shoot kill, okay? But don't even aim in public so easily, because that's someone we're talking about just constantly got a big mouth, okay? There's no strategy. There's no nothing. If I were the adversary of that guy, it was very easy for me to make, my strategy, when, how to make what move and finish that guy, So that was something down to earth you could use. I don't strongly recommend that, because that's basically, if you're a good Taoist, that's purpose defeating, because we, the Chinaman or old school Chinese, we typically don't want to engage into I guess, actions between adversaries, because not because, oh, we're super nice. Lots of time we play nice. We even play dumb. Why? Because once you are into this, deadly encounter, okay, the adversaries, against each other, it's very difficult to get yourself out of that. And for us, either we don't do it at all, or we do it to finish the whole business, okay? Do you have the stomach to do that, right? Because if you don't, the other side will probably come to finish you off. That's why you see a lot of Chinese smile, even though you're saying, "What a bad guy! What a bad ass you are!" They smile back. Why? They don't want to get into this confrontation with you to win on the surface. Oh, so you smile. Hey, I win. Really? Watch out. You don't know what the other guy is doing. For a real good Chinese, old school Chinese or Chinaman, 10 years is not too soon for real sweet revenge. We'll come back, make you regret the last minute of your life. Do you want something like that? No. You better just enjoy your life. You don't mess with the people who have actually very, very deep strategy and a lot of plan. Okay? Those people, they remember what they say, at least in Chinese, they say the barking dogs don't bite. And the biting dogs, they don't bark. So that's why I would strongly such as do not engage into something, aggressively, against somebody else, because once you do, you get this thing started, it would take a lot of strategy and plan basically to win the ultimate, the ultimate, I guess, war. But it's going to be battles against, after battles and after battles. And darn, that's going to be a very, very long engagement of an operation, against your adversary. No. So if you're good Taoist, you stay away from that wherever you could. But when you are cornered back against the wall, then you've got to make your move. And to deal with this, finish off whoever is there trying to do this to you. When you have no option, you have no option. But remember, Daoism is the strategy. Daoism, a lot of Chinese generals learn that. Why? Because that helps you to think outside the box. I don't mean the generals today. I mean the old, good Chinese generals from the ancient Chinese society. They have to think about, what's the great strategy, thinking outside the box. So they can deliver that surprise punch. Bang! Hit you, and you don't even know where that come from. That's Taoism for you. Okay, we'll wrap up this session here in short of 20 minutes for one time. Ciao.